skin these days, so I like to shave every now and again and just let my hair breathe, my skin breathe a little bit. Anyway, apologies. I thought I was running late. Just to say, I managed to pull it off in time. Didn't get a coffee. Let's text Mrs. Mechanic now and see if she'll do me a coffee. God damn it. Honestly, it's just a night. We'll just wait for a few more to turn up. What's the best way of messages? Probably on silent now. Where is she? Emergency coffee. Please. Right. Send that. Do the same one on a text just to try and, maximum coverage. Right, that's gone. We can't do any more. That's it. I'm not ringing her up because she's still in bed. Be in trouble. Okay, in fact, we'll put that off silent and then she'll text back when clear. Okay, let me get logged in. It has been, normally I have about 15 minutes. When I've cleared the workshop out and set everything up, I have about 15 minutes just to calm down, have a cigarette and start my live stream. And that did not happen this morning. Don't know why. Well, I do know why. I didn't set an alarm, made a mistake, didn't set an alarm, was out of bed about 10 minutes late, and it just seemed to compound from there. So it was a real pain. Hey, Sheldon Rush is in the workshop. Good morning, Sheldon. Sheldon says, good morning, Andy and Mrs. Mechanic and crew. Cheers, matey. Very much looking forward to catching up in a couple of weeks. It's not long now, is it? I leave on the 10th of June for the South Island. And I'm gone for almost 3 weeks again. It's a bit of an... Oh, hang on, we did get a text. Okay, dear, could you not manage? I ran out of time. Honestly, you're probably watching. I ran out of time, honey. I don't know why. Anyway, no thanks for that one. Skip the adverts. There we go, we're on. Simon Roll, morning. Lord Andy and crew, good morning, Simon. Welcome back to the workshop. And of course, Sheldon as well. It's great to have you both back in the workshop. It really is. Now, Mrs. Mechanic, what's going on here? I think that's right. Yes, pretty sure that's today. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on today. But anyway, we have or should I say, Mr. Clarkson and pie. Big Ben, creamy butter chicken. Don't know if we've done it before or not. So, without further ado, we should go and have a look on the board, shouldn't we? So, Big Ben, creamy butter chicken. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Right. We'll probably have a bit of a wander in the workshop as well. Right, Big Ben, creamy butter chicken. Now, Big Bens tend not to do that well. So, probably a bit further down. We've done a few Big Bens, I know that. Oh, it's not looking good, is it? Right, nothing down there. On that one, Big Ben, Big Ben, Big Ben, Big Ben. Is he there? Nope, he's not there. Is he on the end? It's very dark down here because that's what they deserve. Big Ben. Shout out if you can see it. Dad's Pies. Big Ben. Steak, cheese, and something else. Meatier Meats. I remember that one, yeah. Big Ben, steak, cheese, and bacon. Oh, there's one down there, look. Big Ben classic steak and cheese. No, wait, I don't think we've done it. What's that one? Nope, that's it. We haven't done it. That's brilliant. I like fresh pies. Ones we haven't done. Some good news. The little trailer is finally going to get its heavy-duty rims and 10-ply low-profile commercial spec tyres. That's going to happen next week. It's about time. I bought these rims about 3 years ago, and the tyres that are on it have just managed to keep going. We had one go out around the other day. We had a puncture on another one when we were getting the builder's mix. So now is the time. Proper wheels for my little trailer. Plus it needs all the brakes adjusting as well. So there'll probably be a video on that. Hopefully next weekend I'll get that one done. But more on videos shortly. Workshop's looking a mess. Oh, Sheldon. Now, Sheldon, while you're on, that's coming your way. Go on this side. There's all sorts to talk about actually on this steering box. Can I lift it down on my own? Wow, I can't really. It's pretty heavy. Hang on, bear with me. Okay. Ooh, right, where do we start with this thing? Okay, so the problem is, to those that haven't seen it, Sheldon knows about this, the bearings, original ball bearings, just on this race round here, both ends, absolutely shot, pitted, basically knackered. And Dinesh, the owner, picked up some taper roller bearings, and the plan is still to machine this down both ends, fit the taper rollers at the correct distance apart, and fit it into the casting. Now, the problem. Yes, I did some calculations the other day. So, basically, that's the calculation. See, you make head or tail of it because it's a while ago. Basically, the OD of these bearings, that's the part number there, Sheldon. The OD of these bearings, in fact, I can show you this bit. Hang on. Is it that one that's open? Hang on, I need two hands. Jeez. Call yourself a videographer, Mr. Young. One of these is open. I know it is. There we are. Right. Okay. Let's go over here with the bearing. I know we should have put the pie in already. Right. Okay. So this is the problem. Very, very visually obvious what the problem is. Get Jared's brake clean out of the way. Outer race. In hole. It's loose. We needed a bearing with a larger outer race because we were going to machine that and where it fits down the bottom down there for the bottom bearing. So we're going to see if we can get some larger bearings, be fun, with the same ID. There's more of a problem. There is. Let's go back. I'm not sure if that's my original drawing, actually. My original calculations. There might be another bit of cardboard somewhere. I'll have to find it. In fact, I took a picture, I think, for Sheldon. So bear with me. It'll be on my phone. You'll just have to hang on a second while I find it. Because there's a million photos on my phone, and you don't want to see half of them. You really don't. I've done a lot of pictures recently. Just bear with people. Bear with me. Bear with me. There. Okay. I need to find that bit of cardboard for Sheldon. I'll send it through to you today, Sheldon, so you can get your head around it. But to let you know, the problem is there is also insufficient distance. Once we've machined down to the diameter we've got available for the ID of this bearing, machined down at both ends, there is insufficient material. So it's going to need a collar making up to go onto here before we can put the top bearing on. There's quite a bit of work, Sheldon, and I am very sorry about that, but we'll have to talk about it when I come down. I need you to help me. I can't fix this on my own. So, all that lot's coming your way. I'll find the original bit of cardboard with the calculations on, but I'm sure you're going to recalculate because mine are only approximate. They're nowhere near to your tolerances. And of course, the box. So all of that will come down when I come down. There you go. How's that? Right. Ooh, back to the bench, I think. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. That was quite stressful. Actually, it was all very off the cuff. Hadn't really planned on doing that in the live stream, but I'm pleased that I did because it keeps you updated. It's turning out to be quite a mission, is that steering box. And I'm pretty sure I gave Dinesh the right sizes. But I must admit, he really struggled to find the right bearings. And he didn't in the end anyway. But that was as near as he could get. So, can't use them. You know, we can't make a little thin collar for the top as well. Well, we could, but it won't be ideal. So I'd rather go for some larger bearings and machine the actual casting. And I'm quite sure that Sheldon is fully capable of doing that, far better than I am. Okay, so let's get the pie in the pie warmer and then we'll fire up a cigarette. So it's a Big Ben, double XL. Yes, double XL, nice. Big Ben, creamy butter chicken. We haven't done it yet. I'm not a great fan of butter chicken pies, but we're running out of pies. Okay, to camera, Andy, to camera. So we're going to warm it up out of the bag. There is the pie. This is preheat visual check. Doesn't look too bad. There's the odd little crack. Oh, there, look. A big crack on there. Other than that, not too bad. Right, turn around again. Back to the pie warmer. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, and then we can talk about Trevor the tractor. Oh, did I close? I did close the door. And we've got some sun cream in the way. Bear with me. That's Ben's. He doesn't like the sunshine. Okay, pie is in the pie warmer. 23 minutes. No, I've not cleaned it. It's actually pretty bad, isn't it? Look at the state of that. That. I thought that was rat poo for a second. It's not. It's pretty rough now, but it gives it lots of flavour. Nice. Okay. Yes. Don't talk to me about that. One day, like a few of the other projects that have been pushed to one side. Right. Turn you around. There we go. Wow, you're all over the workshop this morning, aren't you? Jeez. Never ends. Just never ends in this workshop. There's always stuff to do. That's better. Okay, so cigarettes. Oh, I need a lighter. Hang on. Jeez. Oh, damn it. Okay, so yesterday was a bit of a mission, to be fair. What happened yesterday? So I got the workshops, came out pretty early. Got the workshop also. Oh, I did some editing first. Yes, a video. The video fixing the MIG. That's coming out very shortly. I'll get that finished, edited today and uploaded today, and it'll just go live probably this evening New Zealand time. So it'll be 8, 9 o'clock, something like that. So you get to watch that. You get to watch Andy doing a video again, which is quite a revelation. It's been a while. But yesterday, after I'd sort of nearly finished editing that video, opened the workshop up, and a good friend of mine, Craig Stevens, came down. Top bloke. Now, I have mentioned Craig's name before. Craig is, or in his day, he's about my age now. In his day, he was one of the top motocross riders here for New Zealand. Top bloke. And now owns his own motorcycle shop and works extremely hard. He's the kind of guy that you'll find most of the time in the workshop on the tools, even though he's the owner of the business. He's a top tech. He knows his stuff. He's a little bit weak on electrics, and he'll happily admit that. Or should I say, not so much electrics, but more EFI, that kind of thing. It's a bit newfangled stuff, you know, as Craig will put it. He'll put a few, profanities in there as well, no doubt, because he likes to swear. But he's a good bloke, and he came down, and we had some of those preload spaces to fit to some ROV rear shocks. I did a couple for him earlier in the week, and he had 2 more units going out, which is great, which he also wanted to get them fitted. And he hasn't got the kit. They're a bit finicky to do, so I brought them down. We had a bit of a catch-up. And it was nice to have a talk in a non-work environment, you know, on my turf. And it was very relaxing. A couple of coffees and some home-cooked cookies from Mrs. Mechanic, which he liked very much. And then Craig, after about an hour and a half, Craig poodled off. And then I set to, and something I've been putting off for ages, Trevor the Tractor. Yes. Trevor the Tractor's first service was due at 50 hours. Trevor the Tractor has now done nearly 90 hours. And here I am telling people off, reprimanding them for not adhering to the service schedule. And here I am not adhering to the service schedule. And I feel really badly about it. But it's probably pretty common for most mechanics. We tend to do other people's stuff first, put that first. And then when we finally get a gap, we do our own stuff. In Trevor's defense, he hasn't really been worked very hard. Not like you would do on a farm. He's not towing trailers. He's not digging holes all day. It's very, very light work that he does here. That's not an excuse. It isn't. I know I've done wrong. Anyway, yesterday, the first job was a video on doing an engine oil change, and it worked out pretty well. Quite happy with it. Maybe a little bit drawn out. I've not edited it up yet. It's still in the can. And the second video was replacing the transmission filter. Now, at the first service, it says in the book, and I do have the official manual for this Kubota tractor, which is, it's like unicorn blood. Very, very hard to get hold of, and had to go through some pretty unorthodox channels to get it, but I have got it, and it's super useful. Anyway, it says in there not to replace the oil in the transmission at the first service, so we didn't, and it looked super clean anyway, given the light use it's had. So we replaced the filter. That was on the transmission. That was video number 2. There is still the hydraulic filter to replace for the hydraulic oil. I've got the filter. I bought all the stuff all in one hit a few months ago, so it's been in the cupboard waiting to be fitted. But reading through the manual, even though it's a brilliant manual, and it tells you to replace the hydraulic oil filter at the first service, I cannot find anything in the manual to tell me how to do that. There seems to be no procedure in that manual. So I'm going to email Kubota New Zealand and see if they can tell me. Also, a bit of a saga on a couple of it has 2 sump plugs on the engine. And when you come to watch the video, good luck. You're going to be on the edge of your seat. Yeah, not saying any more, but you will be. Connor K, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, Connor. Welcome back to the workshop. So it's a privilege to have you here. The real Daz 03, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, Daz, as always. More, the real Daz. You will do a live stream in between when you are down south. Yes. I'm only away for 2 weekends. I'll be doing live streams on both of those 2 weekends. I was talking to Mrs. Mechanic about it the other day, and one of them will be in Oamaru. So if I can get Sheldon out of bed on the Sunday morning early enough, and he is a bit of an early riser anyway, then we can do a live stream from his workshop, which would be really cool, because we've been planning that for years and we've never really got around to it. So Sheldon, if you're still around, if you can hear me, that Sunday morning, the day before we do the official visit, if we can do a quick live stream in your workshop, in your machine shop, that'd be really cool. If not, if you've got other plans, don't worry, just an idea. And then the other live stream will be come from Christchurch. So I'll have to find, I've done a few in Christchurch. So I'm going to try and find somewhere interesting in Christchurch to do that from. And hopefully the weather's going to be okay, because it's bitterly cold down there at the moment. Right, next one. Oh, Real does again. Have you had any of those Kai Pai pies? Kai Pai pies. Kai Pai pie. Very good. I like the name. Kai Pai pie. I heard good things about them. You get them from Pack and Save and New World in the freezer. Okay. Well, we have to go shopping shortly. Not today. It'll be tomorrow. I think we're going to go shopping, which is the worst day ever to go shopping because it's a bank holiday. But I will take a photo of that if there's enough room on my phone. It's pretty full at the moment. There we go. And I will have a look for the Kai Pai pies. And if they've got a few, we'll chuck a few in the freezer, and then we can do a few reviews on those, because I've not heard of them before, so that will be good. Thank you very much, Daz. Simon, guilty of the same. Only ordered a power steering rack for my van, as it's due an MOT soon. Yeah, you knew it was about to give up, but hey, it'll be all right, we'll keep going. And it's exactly the same. I mean, Trevor didn't show any symptoms, any problems, and I did keep checking the oil. And to be fair, when I drained the oil out yesterday, you know, diesel oil, when it's worked really hard, it's really black and it's nasty stuff. Well, Trevor's wasn't too bad at all. So I did feel a little bit better at that point. But never done a service on Trevor. Oh, but to be fair, never done a service. That's not right. If you class a loading shovel as a tractor, which is very similar, then I have. Because we had an old Kramer Allrad 312 in the UK, air-cooled Deutz engine, I think it was. Deutz, I can't pronounce it, German engine. We did a few oil changes on that one. Changed the starter motor on it, changed the hydraulic pump on it, put a whacking great powerful hydraulic pump on it. It was brilliant. There was not enough ballast. We could lift 2 ton with a bucket, but the back wheels were practically off the ground. So we had to stick some more ballast on. We had a Drott, an old international Drott, which didn't last very long. It blew the gearbox up. on one of them. It would go around in circles, but it wouldn't go straight. So we gave up with that one. That stayed in the forest. But yeah, don't think we ever did an oil change on that one though. We didn't really use it enough, to be honest. No. It was more of a bit of fun, but it had a 4-in-1 bucket on, which is pretty cool. Didn't work. Oh, wrong way. Holy crap. Right. Simon, do you not keep the diesel oil for wood stain? Works a treat. Does it? Probably makes it highly flammable as well. But anyway, no, I haven't. It's all mixed up with some other stuff now and some coolant. It's all in one big bottle. Big drum thing that's going to get Ben will dispose of it somewhere else. I think Repco have you can take waste oil to Repco, so I'll get rid of it there. Either that or I'll take it to work. We've got a big tank at work that gets empty now and again, where Dave puts stuff. Richard Perry, Andy and crew, hope all are well. GB. They are. We're doing all right, actually. Yesterday was a really productive day. I nearly didn't do the second video, but I read through the manual and thought, man, that's pretty easy. We're not doing an oil change. We're just changing the filter. I mean, how easy is that on a video? But again, that one's got a bit of a twist. Yes, it has. But we got there in the end. Something as simple as fitting an oil filter you would think would be very simple, wouldn't you? But I suppose it all comes with experience, knowing the particular model that you're working on, the vehicle that you're working on, and that was the first time I'd worked on a Kubota tractor. One thing I did notice, which I'm going to have to speak to the dealer about, is the bonnet. Trevor's about 2 years old now, and the bonnet, you'll see on the video, it flips up at the back, so it comes up forwards like a suicide bonnet sort of thing. Well, actually, a bit like a normal car bonnet, really. And the bottom lip has got like a rubber seal around it, so it damps it when you drop the bonnet down. And all down the right-hand side of it, looking from the front, so the left-hand side, is rusty. Really rusty, quite crispy, actually. I was very disappointed. So I'll have a little chat with the dealer, Andrew, if you're there. I'm going to have a chat with you next week to see if we can do a warranty claim on a new bonnet, because I'm not very happy with it, to be honest. It's not what you'd expect from a $60,000 tractor. Rust after, well, within 2 years. I mean, I don't know how long it's been. I know it parks outside sometimes, but most of the time Trevor lives under the carport. He's in the dry, so that shouldn't have happened. I suspect that when they fitted the piece of rubber, which is quite tight on the steel, it's taken all the paint off, or there was no paint there to start off with. I don't know, but it needs to be sorted out because it's only going to get worse. And I want to keep Trevor looking pretty good. He needs a wash. That's one thing he does need, is a good wash. He's getting a bit green. There's a bit of algae here and there. Connor K, is that light behind and above burnt out or turned off? I replaced a ballast once that was dangerously hot and close to catching fire. Yes, that one has stopped working. It is plugged in. But to be fair, I think I might have taken the tubes out as well, so there's no circuit there, there's no load. But yeah, it needs fixing because it's above the lathe as well. It's quite useful, but there is the backup one. And I was using the lathe yesterday, actually. I was cleaning things up. So what's the plan for today, you ask? Well, the plan is some more videos. It's supposed to rain, so it'll test the roof again. Just for your interest, the void between the old roof of the workshop and the new roof is now full of crap. There's probably about 2 tons of stuff above my head on this roof, so I'm very pleased we put the beams in. Otherwise, there's no way it'd support all that weight. It's only temporary. Ben's told me it's only temporary. When he finally gets everything sorted out in his workshop, tidied up and everything put away where he wants it, the vast majority of the void will return. I said it's fine for winter, don't worry about it, but come the summertime, that needs to be clear. So he's got plenty of time. It's all good. So you're right, Connor. I do need to look at that light. It won't be today. It's not a mission critical part of the workshop, but it bugs the hell out of me when lights go out. I fixed all the ones down this side best I could. We do need some new tubes. 1, 2. Yeah, we need 2 longer tubes. I haven't got any of those. And I think I've run out of the shorter tubes as well, which might be the only reason why that light's not working. I might just run out of tubes. But I'm not sure. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But I will get it fixed. Promise. It's a bit dark over there now, isn't it? So, today, right. So once the live stream's done, because the workshop's already empty, I'm going to spend the day, at least most of the day, in the workshop. And a good video I want to get done, and one that I've been asked to do, is since we cleared out the silver shed to move it to build Ben's shed, Ben's workshop, I managed to extract the 5 ammo boxes from the UK that have got a lot of my English hand tools in that I brought from the workshop over in England. And they've never been used. They're still in the boxes, and I want to integrate those into this workshop now. I think it's time. I've got to make some space and find somewhere for them all to live so I can use them, because there's some nice big spanners and stuff in there. There'll be lots of sockets. There'll be a whole box full of sockets, I think. Screwdrivers, lots of other stuff. So I'm going to do a video on opening those boxes and hopefully remembering and some of the stories behind some of the tools in those boxes. Some viewers have asked for that. They quite enjoyed the toolbox tours, so I think that's a really good one to do. And I can't really remember what's in those boxes. Ben packed them when he was a kid back in the UK. I remember all the tools I had in the UK, but I don't know what he brought. And the exciting bit will be to see what I actually managed to salvage, or Ben managed to salvage, to bring here to New Zealand. Some of my English tools are already in service. They're already in the workshop, but some of them aren't, and there's quite a lot of them that aren't. So it'd be quite cool to see what's in there and the different brands as well. I hope they're not too rusty. I mean, they're in ammo boxes, which are reasonably well sealed on the lid. They were outside for a couple of weeks, which is bad. I know, really bad. And then I put them under the house port on a pallet. So fingers crossed they haven't, no moisture's got in. But we'll find out, won't we? Eh? Yeah, if not, I'll have to just chuck them in the cement mixer with some garnet and clean them up. It's not a problem. Oh, hang on. Can you get LED tubes in New Zealand? One we get in the UK are just a direct fit. You can. I believe it. Well, you could. You can't anymore. They've gone away from that now, and they just fit a completely new light. And that's why I didn't do that. Plus, the LED tubes, just like the fluorescent ones, still flicker on camera. I did try a couple a few years ago and it didn't work. So I steered away from that because I really want to keep the steel fittings. They're a really robust fitting, well made, good and strong, and they sort of look good in the workshop, you know, quite an industrial style. A lot of the lights that you buy now, unless you spend stupid money, are just plastic casings. There's a couple down the back there. I had to replace one of them. That one, I think, got replaced. One of them did anyway. Maybe that one, can't remember. They're all right, but again, they flicker on camera. They're not what I want. I have got some panels, but they're too big to fit, too wide to fit in these casings, and I'm not going to cut them open and make them wider. It's too much of a job. So I don't know. One day we might get around to it, but it's a very expensive job to do, and for the small problems I have on camera, it's not the end of the world. You know, you might see. In fact, you'll see on a video that I did yesterday. When we look at a manual, something really white, so it reflects a lot of the light into the camera, it will start to flicker. But if I put my hands in the shot, then that damps it down enough and the flickering goes away. The camera can cope with it. So there are ways around it, but it's not ideal. But hey, one day, maybe. Peter Swatman. They're too tightly packed. And a 5-minute job takes 3 hours. What's that? What's too tightly packed? The lights. They're too tightly packed. Elaborate, Peter. I've lost the thread on that one. Help. But yeah, modern stuff's horrible. So videos today. That's the first video. Second video, I have a small motocross bike here, which is a pre-production bike, and I have to dismantle it. So I'm going to do a video on that. It obviously won't go on the channel for many years, but a good one to get into the camera, because then we can see how the bike's constructed and pull the whole thing apart. Now, when I've done this a few times now over the years, because pre-production bikes have to be destroyed. They're not allowed to enter service. I do tend to keep all the nuts and bolts and stuff. That, you know, it's just a waste to throw those away. But everything else has to go off and get crushed at a scrapyard. And I have to take photographic evidence of that. So unfortunately, the bike is destroyed. So that's going to be one of the videos this afternoon. It shouldn't take me too long to strip it down. Some of the bits are already missing, to be honest. But we need to finish it off. JJ, morning. Andy and crew, good morning. JJ, welcome back, matey. Peter Swapman, there was a previous comment about Kubota tractors being a problem. Yes. So, Trevor the tractor, not too bad to work on, to be fair. Engine oil filter was easy to get to. Had to have one single panel to take off and pop the bonnet, so that was quite acceptable. It did run really close to a coolant hose. The coolant hose was rubbing against it, pushing against it, which is a bad design, I think, unless it's done deliberately. Who knows? You know, bespoke oil cooler, maybe. Not ideal though, not very professional. The transmission oil filter, very easy to get to from underneath, although there wasn't a lot of room for me underneath. If it was on a hoist, which I don't think you can even put Trevor on a hoist, he's quite narrow, it would have been an absolute doddle. And I've already had a quick look at the hydraulic oil filter, and that's just as easy to get to as the transmission filter. It's on the other side. So that should be fine. However, I did read when we were doing the transmission oil filter, the manual said, don't remove the hydraulic filter. Basically, it's easy to get the two mixed up. And it said that all the hydraulic oil will come out if you remove the filter. Well, I haven't got it. I've only got about 5 litres of hydraulic oil, and it holds about 15 litres, I believe. Well, that might be gearbox oil, not sure. So I have to plan my attack on that third video. And then there'll be a video probably showing you where all the grease points are, because there's loads on Trevor, because he's got a backhoe, a front loader part, and all the standard stuff as well. So there's loads of grease points on it to do. But there's lots of those tractors around the world, and I thought, well, it'd be quite interesting, quite helpful for people if I cover this service point on camera and help others out to do the same work. Was there anything that you probably wouldn't have picked up on if you'd just gone in without a manual and done the service? So far, probably not, actually, other than sump plugs. Not going to say any more, got to watch the video. But yes, sump plugs on the engine. No, not good at all. If I have time this afternoon, and I might do, because the toolbox one will be pretty quick. It'll be quite a short video, I think, unless I ramble on for hours. The strip down of the little motocross bike, that should maybe take me, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours, because I've got the engine to strip as well, or I might leave the engine together. I haven't decided yet. I'd like to try and get it running first. Not sure if it even runs, and then get it stripped. But then I've got another pre-pro bike that's still crated that I want to do the final assembly and get it running. I might get that done today. Again, it won't go on the channel. I'm sorry, it won't go on the channel for many years, but I want to film it while I've got the bike. And then maybe take the bike for a test ride. Because that little bike, it's never been anywhere. It's been built, put in a crate, it's gone around the world, sat in a warehouse for years. It's never had the chance to explore the world and be ridden as a motorcycle. So I'd quite like to take it for a ride before I destroy it. You know, give it at least one last hurrah, or its first hurrah, so to speak, before we actually destroy it. So, work in progress. I've got winch videos to do. I've got 2 or 3 winches that need to be sorted out, so we can do some more videos on those. Ben's down next weekend. No live stream next weekend. I'm still at home. Ben's down next weekend, so he's going to be in his shed paneling all the walls and getting all these tools sorted out and stuff and getting his workbenches in the right place. So there will be a bit of noise, but I think I'll certainly for one of the 2 days I'll be filming probably winches next weekend. The idea is to get as much filming done before I go away as possible, and then whilst I'm in the South Island, I have lots of dead evenings, to be honest. You know, yeah, sure, I go to the pub now and again, but I can't go every night. You know, that's not ideal. So I do spend a lot of time and the weekends editing the videos up, and it works really well. Actually, it gives me something to do, keeps me occupied, doesn't cost any money, and also gives the channel a really good boost because we get a few videos all edited up, ready to upload, and I usually get them uploaded. Oamaru is a great place to upload. They've got super fast internet down there where I stay. Get them all uploaded, get them all sort of scheduled on YouTube, and then they just roll out over the next few weeks. Brilliant, absolutely perfect. So you know that's the plan. So I've got to push through and get these videos filmed basically, and there's a bit of work goes into it. It's quite stressful sometimes, but we'll get there. I heard the pie. We'll give it a minute to stand. I'm actually getting quite hungry and still no coffee. Mrs. Mechanic, where's my coffee? She even texts me. I don't know. Where is the coffee? She hasn't knocked on the door. She normally knocks on the door. Let's have a look. Has she messaged me? I don't know. Actually quite tired today. I can tell it in my voice. Nope, no message. So coffee hopefully be on the way. Tessifun. Hello, Andy, and happy. I'm happy today. I got you after missing you for weeks. Today I have a question about wheel offset. What does it mean, wheel offset? Okay, pretty simple. We've got a wheel. Hang on a minute. Let's go over here. We've got some wheels. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Terrible camera work. Nobody wants to see you close up, Andy. Right. Wheel offset. We have, look at that, the Holy Grail. Great fun. Okay, so we can do it here. What we need is some rulers. There's one ruler. Okay, there's a ruler. And we'll use this one. Now, this is only a guide. It's a bit flimsy. It's going to sag in the middle. Okay, so, sorry, people. A bit flimsy. Going to sag in the middle. This is the rear of the rim. And that's the front. You can tell because it's got the valve hole in it. Okay, so if a rim has 0 offset, then the web here, this web, is bang in the middle of the rim. Okay, so it'd be bang in the middle, somewhere about there, which it isn't looking at it. So you put one, doesn't need to be a ruler across there, just something straight. And then you measure down, and that is, oh my word, about 80, let's say 85 millimeters. All right, we will flick it over. Sorry, I've not cleaned it for you. And measuring this side is going to be slightly more. Yes. So that's about just over 95 millimeters. So there's a 10 millimeter difference. So the web is 10 millimeters further in on the front than it is the back. So it's got what we call a negative offset, approximately 10 millimeter negative offset. And the more that web is further down the rim, inside the rim, the more the wheel will stick out on your car, right? Your carbon on the right. A lot of modern cars have horrible wheels which have positive offset, where this web is basically right up at the front here. So the wheel sits right inside and over the brake caliper and, you know, over the hub and everything. And the reason for that is to get the weight of the wheel central to the wheel bearing, because they last a lot longer. There's a lot less stress on the wheel bearings. It also cuts down on bump steer. So when you're going down the road, there's less leverage. When you hit a pothole or a rock or something, there's less leverage to kick the steering. The car tends to stay nice and straight, so they've done it for handling as well. However, it looks crap. I like the old muscle cars. You find a lot of old muscle cars and four-wheel drives will have negative offset rims where the hub is well down inside. You've got lots of rims sticking out or protruding beyond the hub. But, you know, when you fit much wider wheels, Ben's got them on his Patrol. He's got 10-inch rims. These are, I don't know what these are. Let's have a look. 180 millimeters, roughly. It should be, normally, yes, it's stamped on. Let's have a look. See if we can find it. There's one. Nope, not that one. Yes, there we are. Hard to read. So it's 6-inch by 10 is what they say it is. So it's a 10-inch diameter and it's 6 inches wide. So yeah, I suppose between those 15, yeah, about 6 inches. Cool. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you to understand negative and positive offset for wheels. I used to sell wheels in the UK years ago, four-wheel drive wheels, and you know it was very common to buy negative offset rims, so your wheels stuck out a bit more and gave you four-wheel drive a bit more of a wider track, we call that, where the wheels are further apart on the axle. Interesting stuff. Right, it's definitely pie time now. Jeez. So, Tessifun, tell me if that was helpful. Okay. Oh my word, look at this. It's falling apart. It really is falling apart. Jeez. Okay. Give it maximum support. Dum 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 dum. Right, we'll stick it on the wrapper. That's the only clean thing in the workshop at the moment. There we go. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. And I used to teach about wheels at Unitech. We didn't do a lot on rims, but we did a little bit. And I used to do when we were doing wheels and tyres and stuff, I used to do a practical lesson of how to fit and remove a tyre from a rim using a tyre changing machine. I've got one here outside, which needs some work. It's getting a bit rusty. Doesn't get used very often now. Although it's going to get used for those, and it got used recently for Ben's big four-wheel drive tyres, which only just fit on. It was a real mission. But I used to have a competition with the lads. So I used to, individually, they'd try and set the fastest time to remove and then refit a tyre. And then when they finished, they put their hands up, you know, machine stop, put their hands up, stop the clock, put them on the whiteboard with their time. And they could have a couple of goes if they wanted. It was fine because, you know, they'd have a bit of practice in the morning and then we'd do the final competition at the end of the lesson. And the winner would get a jug of beer. Yes, compliments of Andy Mechanic. So we used to all head down to the pub afterwards and go have a few drinks. And it used to work out really well. It was good. Of course, you know, they would, I didn't offer, they would usually ask me to have a go at the end to show them how it's done. And yeah. It's good job I wasn't in the competition, put it that way. Otherwise, I'd have got quite drunk that night. Right, I think I hear Mrs. Mechanic coming. I'm not sure. So we're going to start the pie. We'll do the visual anyway. Okay, so we know that the lid's pretty bad. Look at that. So we'll be super careful when we're eating this one. There was a big crack. Well, there's a crack there, look. Anything else? Another crack there. Look at the lid. Oh my word, the back. The base is still good actually. Okay. So those that have just joined us. Oh, hang on. I was right. Coffee's coming. Hang on a second. Oh my word. Oh. Mrs. Mechanic tells me we've got an issue. Some kind of really loud, high-pitched noise in the workshop. I think she's right. Can you guys hear that on the camera? Oh well, we'll wait for it to go bang. I'm not going to start trying to chase that down this morning on live stream. Okay, so the pie is a Big Ben, double XL, and it's a creamy butter chicken. Not my favourite kind of pies, but one that we haven't yet done. So, back to the comments. Simon, if the sump is anything like the 70s DT engines, one if the sump, one retains a gear in the gear. Oh, one is the sump bung, one retains a gear in the gearbox. Get them mixed up and split the cases. Really? Didn't know that on those. Jeez. Hey, Jim K. Morning, Jim. Got my pie. It's not a great pie by the looks of it, but we'll give it a go. It does say it's a double XL and it's only 210 grams. It's 10 grams more than what seems to be the average size pie in New Zealand. So to call it a double XL, I mean, come on. That's pushing it a little bit. So, Jim, hope you're all good, matey. I think I missed your call earlier in the week. Apologies, I was in a meeting. I'm working from home on Tuesday. So give me a call Tuesday morning, whatever that is. That'll be your Monday night, won't it? Monday afternoon. Tessavon, God bless Andy. Hey, no problem, matey. Brandon Mazkiewicz, sure can. Okay. Simon, yes. Okay. Jay, yay, I can hear that. Haha. Connor K, yes, high frequency term. Well, my apologies, people. I can now that Mrs. Mechanic's mentioned it, I can hear it, but I don't know. Let's go and try and turn a couple of chargers off. It might be a charger. Turn you around 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, because it's bugging me now. Yeah. Oh, look at that wiring. Can you? Oh my word. That's all cracked. That's really bad. That's really. You can even see. You can't see it on there, but you can even see the green crusties. Well, coming through the cracks in the wiring. Oh no. It could be. That one's not so bad. That one's terrible. That end's fine. Anyway, we digress. I don't know where it's coming from. Let's turn some chargers off. They're beeping, so that's that one. Yeah, and then just turn them all off. Yeah, they're all down. I don't know. I can definitely hear it though. Anyway, we'll just wait for it to go pop, and then we'll know what it is, won't we? Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. I'm getting hungry. I think it's the lights. Actually, I do. First coffee of the day is always the best coffee of the day. Right, we're going in. So, Big Ben, double XL, joke. Creamy butter chicken. Structural integrity, pretty poor. So it's going to be a two-handed consumption here. You ready? Oh my word. Okay, bit dry. Ooh. Gonna need some coffee for this one. Ha! Is the tone Mr. Ratty stuck to a wire? I hope so. Jane, as you get older, you lose the ability to hear high frequency tones, mate. Lol. I can hear it now, but I didn't really take much notice of it earlier on. I'm not that old. 52, right? 52 is the new 40, I'm told. Funny. Anyway, right. Taste stroke flavor of the contents. Well, the contents are about 10 millimeters deep. It's pretty crap, to be perfectly honest. Sorry, Big Ben, but it is. I mean, it tastes buttery chicken, but the majority of what I'm swallowing feels to be just be pastry. It doesn't feel to be meat or any kind of real contents. It's pretty poor. There's not really very big chunks of meat in there either. It's just like strands of chicken. Okay, taste, stroke, flavour. Three. Sorry, Big Ben, but it's poor. Structure fully partners. We'll leave that for a little bit because we've got lots more pie to go yet. Runnability test. It's going to win this one. It's like concrete. There's nothing at all flowing from that pie. It's not going to give anything out. It will get a 10. Quite stable as regards that side of things. Couldn't ask for any more than that. Meat quality. Well, if we can find some, I'll let you know. Oh. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are pieces of chicken in there. But they are, I suppose, a bit there, look. A bit of chicken there. And I think that's a bit just up there, look, as well. But it's not great. Nope, that wasn't. I would say there is less chicken in this pie so far, based on the ratio of chicken to mush. There's a lot of mush in there. Probably less chicken in this whole pie than there is on one forkful of chicken, a normal mouthful of chicken. It's extremely skimpy on the chicken, is all I can say. Meat quality, pretty poor, to be honest. I'm going to give you a 3 for that as well. Sorry, pie. So contents to pastry ratio. Well, despite there not being a lot of chicken in there, there's a lot of mush. All this sort of brown, mushy, you can't call it gravy because it's not. It's just, you know, sort of butter chickeny, kind of mushy, flavoury, browny, gooey stuff. There's a bit of that. But there's also a lot of pastry, and the pastry that there is very dry and crunchy. So it just instantly, absorbs all the moisture in your mouth. It's not ideal. Okay. I'm going to give it. This has to be based on the cross section. This is not about pastry quality. So we've got to put all of that moisture absorbing dryness to one side. This is purely based on the cross section of pastry to the meat. I'm going to give it a 5. And I think I'm being generous. Now, availability stroke logistics. Big Ben pies, they are reasonably readily available. Supermarkets, corner shops, the odd petrol station, but they've more in recent years far more gone towards their own brand of pie rather than promoting ones that they buy in. So yeah, for supermarkets, you'll only be able to order them online. I mean, I don't see them that often. I'd have to say, I think we give them a 7, don't we? You can get them online and no, some stores have them, not all. Oh, there's a burp. Remember that. I'm going to give them a 6, I think, because I don't see them for sale that often. Oh, look, a piece of chicken. What the hell? Well, That piece of chicken, and that's what the only real piece of chicken I found, was actually all right. So meat quality is going to have to go up. Because it's not meat volume, is it? It's meat quality. So I'm going to give them I'll give a 5 for that, I think. Okay. Pastry taste rating. It's not great. It's very, very dry. Quite crunchy. I'll try a bit of the lid. Oh my word. Very crunchy. The bits that aren't stupidly crunchy just taste of pastry. It's just normal pastry. There's no added flavours. I'll give it a 5. It's pretty run-of-the-mill. It's a bit dry though. Should I get a 5? No, I'm going to give it a 4 actually because it's too dry. 4. Still tasty when cold. Would I eat this pie cold? A creamy butter chicken pie cold. If it was in the glove box and I was really hungry, yes, I probably would. I'd be a bit nervous about the fact it's chicken and it's not being refrigerated. But if you're really hungry, right? I mean, the chicken's already cooked, so it shouldn't be a problem. Would I still taste it when cold? No. I'd eat it begrudgingly, I think. There's no slimy mushrooms, no slimy onions in there. They both of those put me off. I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't think it'd be a great pie to have cold, to be honest. Oh. Now we can probably do a structure fully partners now. It's held together reasonably well considering all the problems that it had at the start. I've sort of navigated my way through the pie to end up with a bit that's actually quite stable. So the bench isn't too bad. There's hardly any pastry on the bench. I will give it, I mean, it's definitely a two-handed pie. You couldn't eat it with one hand. It would have fallen apart. I'll give it a 6. I think 6 is fair. I think it's quite generous, to be fair. Oh, been watching a series on TV on Prime, and it's all about the Eddie Stobart trucks over in the UK. They were around when I was a kid flying around. They'll be around since, I think, 1972, the year I was born. They started, from memory. I could be wrong. A little shop somewhere selling agricultural supplies, and then they just grew to having over 2,000 trucks, an airport, a rail link, all sorts of stuff, you know, massive transport company, not just limited to trucks. Very impressive. And then something happened to them. So I Googled them, and something happened where they essentially went bankrupt and the business got bought out. They're still on the road, but they're being rebranded, and this new company's running it, I believe. But it's not a bad series to watch. I mean, I like trucks, and they get to do all sorts of weird stuff and things. I'm on series 4 now. It's getting a little bit repetitive, so they're going to need to I'm hoping that they do something a bit different. Anyway, maybe a bit more on the mechanical side of it. They did go in the workshop once, but they didn't really show much, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, packaging design. If you've seen that series, don't give me spoiler alerts, but let me know what you think about the series. Anyway, the packaging's pretty good actually. Although it is plastic. There's little windows so you can see the pie. It's clear in some places. There's a lot of information on there. It's very distinctive. The logo is massive. You know it's a Big Ben pie straight away. The flavour of the pie is colour-coded, so this one being purple. If you like creamy butter chicken pies, you only have to look for a purple label on a Big Ben pie, and you don't have to bother to read it. You just know it's... God, I keep burping. We're losing points here on the heartburn. Proudly made in New Zealand, which is always a good thing to have it made in your own country. It saves a bit of fuel getting it here, and employs people, which is nice because there's a big problem with employment in New Zealand again at the moment. A lot of people losing their jobs, unfortunately. It's got all the ingredients and how to store it and how to warm it up and things. Right, okay. So yeah, it's not bad. There's been a bit of work gone into that one. Have a look at that. There's quite a bit. It's quite a busy label, to be fair. There's even, if you can see it or not, there's even writing on the clear side as well. Hey, it looks pretty cool. They've got a little background sort of graphics going on as well on the front. Somebody spent a bit of time doing that. I'm going to give them... Is it perforated? No, it's not perforated. So you always have to take it out of the bag to warm it up. Something to remember. I'm going to give them, for that, because it's got the window, I'm going to give them an 8. Or should I give them a 9? I'll give them a 9. It's pretty good. Better than the pie. Right. Okay. Recyclable score. What the hell? It says it's recyclable. Just there, look. On the bottom. Oh, can you see that? There, look. Little recyclable sign. But it says, in very, very, very small lettering, return to the store. I can't imagine anybody would bother to take the wrapper back to the store. So maybe it needs some kind of specialist recycling. But it is recyclable, and they tell you what to do to recycle it. It's not a particularly convenient method of recycling, having to go back to the shop you bought it from to get it recycled, because you're going to probably burn quite a bit of fuel to do that, unless you're going to go back and buy another one anyway and just do a swap, basically. I don't know. I'm going to have to give them a... I think I'm going to have to knock some points off because you've got to take it back to the store. I'm going to give them an 8. We'll give them an 8 for that. It's normally we get either 0 or 10, but I think under these circumstances we've got to be somewhere in between. Post pie heartburn. Let's leave that for a second. Stuffability score. I'm not finished yet. And to be honest, it's not as nice to eat when it's cold. It's cooling down, and even now it's not particularly tasty. I gave him a 4. I'm going to knock it down to a 3 for still tasty when cold, because I actually don't think it would be. Not based on this. Okay. Pie server attractiveness. Has Mrs. Mechanic messaged me the pie server attractiveness? No, she hasn't. Honey, I need to know the pie server attractiveness. So the whole experience of purchasing the pie, the person that sold it to you behind the counter, how happy and welcoming they were, and the environment of the store as well. Very important. All right. Pete Woodfine. Hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Pete. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. Dave, 123. What's the latest with your buddy's Triumph T1 4750? The one with the busted up transmission? That's a very good question. Now, oh, she's writing. It's been here quite a while. And the engine's in Invercargill. And the bike is here. The fuel tank's in Auckland, as are the side panels. The seat is outside under the car, under the carport. It's safe, but it's under there. The bike is out in the garden at the moment. Normally lives in the workshop. And a parts list. After I went to go and see Stu, we finalised all the components that need to be replaced. We pretty much agreed on everything. Stu found a couple of extra bits and pieces to replace as well, which is fine. I added those to the list. And then the list went off to the owner of the bike. And that's it. Despite a number of follow-ups, basically, have you got the parts yet? The answer each time has been, no, I've been too busy. Right. So the whole thing has stagnated. I'm not going to pay for the parts. It's not my bike. I'm not charging for any labor. I'm just making some videos doing it because it's quite interesting. But without the parts, I can't really continue. Sure, I've got a couple of new tires to put on that I could do a video fitting the tires, but it's not that interesting. You've seen me fit tires before a few times, so I'm holding off on that. I spoke to Stu down in Invercargill, who's got the engine, and the engine's in, the gearbox is all in bits, and everything's currently waiting for the parts to turn up. So I said, oh, pardon me. I said, Stu, what would you think about me bringing the rest of the bike down to you so it's all in one place? Because I think Alan's going to get you to rebuild the gearbox, do all the work, put it back in the frame, and then go through the bike and get it all sorted out. Because it had a few running issues, the ones the carbs sorting out and things. And Stu was like, not interested. He said, I don't want it stuck in my workshop as much as you don't want it stuck in your workshop, which is a really fair response. And I totally respect Stu for that. So I didn't push it. I said, no problem at all. I just wanted to put it by you. I've got this opportunity where I could bring the bike down to you when I drive down. Wanted to broach this subject with you before I set off. And he said, no, it's all good, but I don't want it here. So I'm quite happy to do the gearbox for the owner. But at this point in time, when we haven't even got the parts for the gearbox, the last thing I want is the bike sat down there for a few years. It's not going to happen. So, okay, fair call, understood. So, Dave, that's where we're at. Nowhere. We're dead in the water. There's a long list of parts needed for it. It's not going to be a cheap fix. And the owner, I don't know what they're going to do with it. Are they going to sell it in its current condition, which is not a lot? It's not going to be worth much. Are they going to dig deep and get all the parts and fix it? Is he going to find a replacement, complete engine for it? Then he's rolling the dice again. I mean, the whole aim of this project was to rebuild that engine because he wants the top end doing as well. To rebuild it so we know that everything in it is correct and it's all been assembled properly. And then the rest of the bike can be fettled over time. I can get all that done before I hand it back, or I can get some bits of it done and hand it back, and the owner can finish it off. I was sort of actually quite looking forward to doing the rest of the work on it. But now there's been so much time has passed that I won't say I've lost enthusiasm. I had everything lined up for a perfect repair. Stu down in Invercargill is a very experienced motorcycle mechanic and has worked on a lot of these bikes, these old Triumphs, in the past. He knows his way around the gearbox extremely well. He knows all the tricks. There's no better mechanic here in New Zealand to rebuild that engine for the owner. But nothing's happened. If it was my bike, I would have, and if I was not a mechanic, I would really, in fact, even as I am now, to have Stu's input and help in putting that engine back together is invaluable. Why would you not take advantage of that? And you're going to have to fix the bike. You made the commitment when we pulled it apart. Sure, we found a lot more wrong with it than what we originally thought was going to be wrong with it. And it's been a pretty hodgepodge engine that's been thrown back together, and there's similar issues around the frame as well. But it is what it is. And you've just got to dig deep and get on with it and make it right. And then once it's all done, if you want to keep it, you keep it. If you don't, you flick it on and somebody else can have it. But at least you can sell it knowing that you're selling something that's 100%. Unfortunately, the current owner that bought it, as you well know, the bike was far from 100%. It was just thrown together. There were many parts in there which were extremely dubious. Remember, the bike had only done a few kilometers before it failed and we pulled it apart. And it had just been rebuilt. So the previous person that rebuilt the engine either had no idea what they were doing, or they knew what they were doing, but decided to just use worn out parts anyway, and parts that were going to fail. Either way, inexcusable. So, sorry for the rant, but I don't want to deliver a pile of bits back to the owner. That's not what it's about. I want to hand over a bike that's been fixed. It's very rare that a project like this stalls halfway through, but maybe this is the one. We'll have to wait and see. Connor, I'm 59, which is the new 59. Sorry to report. Oh, you've burst my bubble again, Connor. Cheers, mate. Right. Okay, Mrs. Mechanic doesn't know, so we're going to give it a generic 5. Ben bought the pie. Big Ben, my lad Ben, bought the Big Ben pie. So, he's not contactable at the moment, he'll be at work. So, we'll give it a 5. So, pie sort of generic 5. Stuff ability score. It sort of put me off eating, to be fair. It's sort of sitting a bit heavy, is that one. So, fully stuffed. I suppose it gets a 10, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not hungry anymore. I'm not over full, so it gets a 10 based on the criteria. Post pie heartburn. There's been a few burps. I'm going to give it a 6. It might drop later on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Time to add up the scores. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Right. Sorry for that. I'm going a bit mad today. Make a bit of space. Benches are never big enough, are they? No matter how big you make them. Okay, that went down to a 5. Jeez. It's starting. Okay. 9, 19, 24, 29, 35, 39, 42, 51, 51, so 59, 64, 74, 79, 79. It felt lower, but hey, there's some criteria here that it really picked up on. I mean, stuff ability score, it's just put me off eating, to be fair. I'm not stuffed and I'm not underfed. You know, I'm not still hungry, so it gets a 10. Is it deserved? Under that criteria, it is. Packaging design was pretty damn good. You know, you can't knock them for spending a bit of time coming up with that. You know, that's not a 5-minute job on Photoshop, that's for sure. Runnability test. Just because the contents were like rock solid, it got a 10. Nothing to do with taste. So a big chunk of this score is sort of unrelated to the flavour and the tastiness of the pie. So you've got to bear that in mind, you know. Okay, so we have, it is a Big Ben. And it's a double XL, creamy, butter, chicken. And it got 79. And what was the most memorable part of it? Tiny, weird. No, that was flavour based. What was the most weird thing about it? Yeah, didn't like the flavour. But that's personal, isn't it? I can't put that. Little meat. Odd taste. Yeah. I know, that's my own opinion, but I'm the one that's scoring the pie, so suck it up, people. Right. 79. I said that in jest. I hate to offend people. I'm not offending anybody, hopefully. Right, it's going to be on this. Oh, look at that. It goes straight on there. Look, there's already a space for it. There you go. It's on the 79 group. So, Irvin's potato top beef, Mackenzie's lamb, rosemary and mint, Oxford Pie's steak. See, bigger pie, 220. All got the same score, 79, which is pretty poor, to be fair. When you're on the back wall here, you know you've made a bad pie, Big Ben. Not good. I don't know if I did tell you, Lily got married the other day, a couple of weeks ago. She got married. A married woman. Who would have thought? Good luck, mate. Right. Sorry, Lily. She's going to give me some shit now, I tell you. That's if she watches the live stream. Who knows? Okay. I wonder how many kids they're going to have. Or are they going to have kids? A lot of couples these days don't have kids, do they? You know, they're like, no, not having children, way too expensive. And they affect our lives too much. They do. I've really got kids. It's a whole different world. So different. Coffee's going cold. How long are we going anyway? Hour and 15. Wow. Who would have thought? Right, I've got to rearrange. Something's all right. There we are. That's better. So 59 is a new 59. Bugger. Simon. Next Saturday is the memorial for Dave, the hairy biker. I've been a whole year already. Looks like there'll be about 2,000 bikes doing it. It's going to be an impressive sight. Well, that is fantastic news, Simon, and I'm sure it will be an amazing day. Top bloke. Didn't know too much about him, to be honest. I didn't really watch that kind of stuff. We don't really get it here. But to see that kind of turnout, man, if I get 5 bikes, that'll do me. You know, but 2,000 bikes. You have to send me some. I'm sure there'll be some photos on Facebook and stuff after the event, Simon. Try and fire a few through because that'd be pretty cool to see. I remember going to the Isle of Man years ago, and there was loads of bikes there for the racing, and it was just an incredible place to go to. I'd love to go back. I don't think it's ever going to happen, to be honest. I don't think it can happen. We'll have to wait and see. Jim Haynes. Hi, guys. Late also. Jim, been using your ratchets. Absolutely spot on. In fact, in the video yesterday, again. And, oh, yes. The air hammer. Absolutely. I was doing a job last Sunday. One of the 2 days. I was working on an ROV, servicing it. It's gone back. They've paid the invoice. Everything's sweet. We're really good. I can afford cigarettes again. And I was changing the steering column, or the steering shaft, down from the steering wheel down to the steering rack. One of the UJs had crapped out. One had seized up, one had crapped out, so I had to replace that. And I had to get it off the steering rack pinion shaft, spline to that. Very, very rusty, being a beach-used ROV. And I was hammering away for a while, and Ben goes, "Why don't you use your air hammer?" And I'm like, "Good point, son. Hadn't thought of that." "Oh, you never use that. You should use it all the time." Okay, Ben. He does talk like that sometimes, actually. He was thinking of something else as well, so it wasn't really focused on a conversation. So I was right, let's give it a go. So I pulled it out of the box, plumbed it all in, fired the air compressor up, and the noise! I didn't put any earmuffs on, and Mrs. Mechanic was in the workshop as well. She was doing the calipers. It was so loud, but man, 3 or 4 whacks, boom, done. Phenomenal piece of kit. Very happy. Couldn't film it because wrong brand, right? But next time I use that tool, it's going to go on camera. It is incredible. Top piece of kit. And now we're running the bigger air compressor as well, and it's so close to the air compressor, it gets all the air that it needs. It's really powerful. Very happy. So thank you, Jim. So are the jobs lost because okay, the employment here in New Zealand has taken a massive hit. Across a lot of fronts, to be fair. Farming. A lot of farm owners have kicked the farm manager. If they've had a farm manager that they employ, they've gone on a number of occasions, and the farm owners have taken over the running of the farm to save that salary, save that wage. Sales in general, automotive sales, automotive workshops, There's just been a big downturn over the last few months, and it's not just for a short period of time. It really is starting to hit home, and we've got to the point now where quite a few companies are starting to go, you know what, we need to shed some staff. We can't keep paying out this level of salary, wages to the team. We've got to, you know, be selective and get rid of the ones probably that are not that productive or cause problems, and they can justify why they're doing it. So, bit of a clear out. There was a company the other day that I heard that had lost 25 staff, that made 25 people redundant. Can't remember who it was. Craig told me actually, but I can't remember the company. But no, the cost of living's gone through the roof. A lot more people are getting made redundant. However, if you are a skilled worker and you have, I wouldn't say a unique skill set, but a skill set that's hard to find in an individual, then I'm pretty confident that you're going to be all right. It's more, I think, the normal sort of labour force, I can't say menial tasks, but the unskilled labour, the fruit pickers, that kind of thing. Maybe they're all getting hammered by it. But there's definitely an increase in unemployment here in New Zealand, but still a huge void for the skilled staff, right? So there's been a big void of skilled technicians here in New Zealand, whether it's car, motorcycle, ATV, plant machinery, truck mechanics. Whenever I'm driving around, I often see signs outside workshops, tech wanted. So it's not a good sign at all. I'm not sure of the sign. I mean the sign of the the state of the economy. A lot of companies are running a lot of stock at the moment. If they're an importer that retails or wholesales into New Zealand through a network of stores, or supply a network of stores around the country, they tend to be carrying a huge amount of stock at the moment. Remember, post the big C, during C, everything was going really well. Everyone was buying everything. And being in New Zealand, a lot of the products have to be ordered way in advance, not just for shipping delays or time in shipping, but you've got production, you've got to get it in the queue, get it all produced, get it shipped out. They're usually ordering 9 months to a year in advance. Since they ordered, the market took a huge downturn. Mortgage interest rates have skyrocketed the last few months, and people have less money to spend. It's as simple as that. Finance is a lot harder to get at the moment, so all of it's having a knock-on effect. I'm not an economist. I don't know about it. I keep myself out of it. I managed to bumble along quite happily on my own. I've got my day job. I've got my other jobs that come through the workshop that bring some money in, and it's a good job that they do, to be honest. I have noticed sometimes some of the invoices take a little bit longer to get paid than they used to do. So maybe that's a bit of a cash flow problem on some of the companies or some of the clubs that I deal with. I don't know how they operate. But this last invoice was paid within a few days, which was brilliant. Thank you very much, Surf Club. Really appreciate it. Pete Woodvine, congratulations to Lily and her new husband. Yes, absolutely. She put some wedding photos on Facebook. It looked like it was a fantastic day. I didn't go, wasn't invited, but that's fine. You've got to be selective who you invite to your weddings because it's bloody expensive. But no, I hope she has a great time, and I wish them all the best. Jim Haynes, is the Lily workshop you did still? No, that was Holly's workshop up in Auckland. No, we've dismantled that. Everything's come down here. It is no more. To be fair, it wasn't really an ideal building anyway. It was quite damp. The roll cab that came back, which is my electrical roll cab now, is a little bit tarnished, to be honest. You can see on some of the chrome handles on the top box, they're a bit rusty, which is not good at all for a workshop. But no, Holly just didn't have the time to make any videos, unfortunately. It just didn't happen, and we agreed the best course of action was to clear all the stuff out. And it's a real shame, because I did put a bit of time into setting it all up for her. But we never made a video. No videos. ever made in that workshop, other than I might have on my phone a video that I took that I sent to Holly once I'd set up all the lights and stuff. So maybe I can find that and then and put that maybe on a short or something. I don't know how to do that, but I'll work it out if I remember. And if it's still there, it may have gone. It may have got deleted, years ago. Richard Perry, yep. I'm hoping to be going to the Bike Museum, Birmingham, for Dave. Awesome, Richard. Good on you. Simon, if parts turn up on time, it will. I'll take some photos. Excellent. Simon, Richard Perry, hopefully dropping on from Kendal. That would be really cool. Really cool. Send me some photos, Simon. And Richard, you can fire some photos though as well if you like. Anybody that goes, send me some pictures. It'd be cool to see. Jim, Astro air hammers make things move. It did. It's just an amazing piece of kit. Very grateful. Thank you. Richard Perry, Simon, never know, might see you. I will be on a black tri-glide with me on sticks. Aha. Can't be many of them out, Simon. Yep, you should stick out like a sore thumb, matey. Simon, if I do, I'll get you a coffee. You're on a regular XJ 900 diversion in red. Excellent. Richard Perry. Okay, Simon, we'll hold you to that, mate. Have a safe journey down. Big thumbs up. Wade Mayer. Pretty late myself too. Oof. Oh, mate, it's a bit of a struggle this morning getting everything sorted out. I didn't even get a coffee. I didn't have time to boil the kettle. We're full on. So, summary time, really. What are we on? Hour and 26. So we're nearly up to the hour and a half, which I'll try and keep the live streams to that limit if I can. And I've got videos to make, so, got to crack on. The next there won't be a live stream next Sunday because Ben's down and we do it every other Sunday when it's in the workshop. But there will be a live stream the Sunday after, which I will be in Oamaru for that one. And then the weekend after, the Sunday morning following, I'll be in Christchurch. There'll be another live stream there. And then I'll do a live stream when I get back home that following weekend. So we'll be back in the workshop and I can tell you all about my trip and all the things that went wrong and all the problems that we had and stuff. It's a bit of a mission, to be honest. It'll be about, I think it's about 3,500 Ks that I've got to cover during the time. It sounds a lot, but it's spread over quite a few days. The big drive is getting down to Wellington. That's a day's drive to get down to Wellington, basically. Get on the ferry. So it's an early start. Get on the ferry on the Monday. This is the 10th of June. And then I'm staying in Picton that night. And then I've got to drive down from there down to Christchurch. I think I'm doing Rangiora first, a visit to the bike shop there, and then straight into Christchurch. From memory, it's quite a complicated schedule. There's a lot going on. But let's wait and see, won't you? Okay. Now, tomorrow is a bank holiday, a King's birthday here in New Zealand. So I've got the day off. I'm not planning on being in the workshop. I think we're actually going to have a day off. And at some point on Monday, we're going to go shopping. So I'm going to spend an enormous amount of money buying some regular food. Mrs. Mechanic is incredibly good at running a very tight ship in our galley. Our cafe, our little restaurant that we have that she does. She made some home cooked cookies the other day rather than buy some. Probably more expensive actually, but anyway, they were very tasty. And it's nice to have home cooked food, isn't it? And she does a great job sort of scavenging up what we've got left in the freezer to make something. We're not the kind of people that spend a load of money just frivolously on foodstuffs. She's pretty much down to earth when we go shopping, but even then it's still pretty expensive. Meat's crazy expensive these days, but anyway, we'll get there. Thanks, Richard. Send me some pictures. Good man. Jim Haynes. Don't remember the town, but the American-based speed shop you went by on the route. That was Christchurch. Yes, that's next to the BP in Christchurch. They might be open on Saturday. If they're open Saturday afternoon, I might pop round and go and see the lads. Maybe we'll get a bit of put to camera. I don't know. That's if they're still there. Who knows? I was speaking to a guy that did some engineering work. I can't show you the photos, unfortunately. I did some engineering work a couple of weeks ago. He made an extended tow bar for an ROV, and he made a really good job of it. We spent a bit of time. I'd never met the guy before. It was a contact through somebody at work, and in his workshop, he had quite a few rally cars. Yes, and sort of tuned up cars, and that was his job. You know, he doesn't work on regular vehicles. He builds them from the ground up for specific customers. And I said to him, I said, how are you finding the demand for your work these days? You know, are you still getting plenty of work through the doors? And he said, mate, it's flat out. He said, the people that have got money will always have money. And they want their toys. You know, they're happy to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars getting what they want. So it's not the higher end of the population that's struggling for cash. It's the lower end, unfortunately, the low income families that are struggling at the moment. And it's a real shame. It really is. And I think it's going to take quite a while to bounce back. We're in for the long haul with this one. Definitely in recession. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. I'm not one for scaremongering, but New Zealand, without a doubt, is in recession. You don't really hear it much on the news at the moment. They're sort of keeping a low profile, but it's not good. Things have got really expensive. Income really has not kept up with the cost of living at all. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. I might need to have a chat with somebody about that. Anyway, Simon, like you said, if you have some skills, you won't struggle. That's right. Learn your stuff, mate. Be as good as you can at what you do. That's what I say. Every day is a new day, and it's a learning day, as Steve would say. Every day is a learning day, and enjoy what you do. You know, we all make mistakes. You look back with hindsight and think, well, I could have done that better. But next time you do it, you will do it better. That's the plan. Okay, crew, I've got to sign off. I've got stuff to do. Thank you all very much for joining and for all the support that you, the core viewers, give this channel. It is very, very much appreciated. And I will see you again on a video very soon. All right, crew. Cheers. Over and out.